What it do? Period. Hi guys. Hope you're having a good start to your weekend. Was it Sunday? Or Saturday? Never mind. Not start. I hope your weekend was well, or Sunday, what you wanted it to be. I worked during my weekend, but my weekend was pretty good. We were chilling, making videos, playing video games, type stuff. But anyway, today we're gonna be reacting to how an island created the world's ugliest monkey. Who was this again?
Casual Geographic.
Casual Geographic. We've reacted to him before. I like him, like I said. He likes him. And I think I follow his TikTok as well because he posts on TikTok a lot. He's a really good creator. But, yeah.
As always, I do tend to say this on every single video because, you know, she's new.
He'll never
she's
stop.
getting used to posting videos on the channel.
He'll never
stop. So, with that being said, give her some leniency. You know, she's still trying. She's trying, don't worry. How's everyone's day going today, guys? I hope it's been good. I hope you all have been doing great. Mm-hmm. It is Sunday.
Jesus Day.
But no, so seriously cringe. Though, we're gonna be reacting to Casual Geographic, how an island created the world's ugliest monkey. If you guys are new to this channel and want to see more content like this, please be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel.
Thank you.
And let's finish our intro. Kitty cry! Yes sir, yes sir. We come back with another video. Let's go.
Cue the video.
But nah, let's react to this video.
Okay, they're cute. They're not ugly. I don't think they're ugly.
Oh.
Okay, that's ugly.
Oh.
That's ugly too. That's scary. That's a nightmare.
Wow.
What is that?
And why is that bag on your head?
You know, when they say survival of the fittest, it's more like survival of if it works, it works. Because they didn't mean fit as in abs, arms, and selling supplements on Instagram. No, they mean fit as in like how good are you at staying alive long enough to make more of yourself. Yeah. For example, you won't see a turtle with a Gymshark sponsorship. Yet a mobile boulder has been running the same playbook for a good 200 million years. And it's on islands where evolution really goes off one. You see, the thing is, because islands have more of a cap on how many people can be alive at once, islands have more specialist species than generalists. It's kind of like the job market. The more competitive it gets, the more DMs you get from people pushing Forex or overpriced underquality knives. So it makes sense for the oldest island in the world to have the most creatively questionable creatures on its roster. India divorced itself from the continent of Africa an estimated 150 million years ago, and then proceeded to lose custody of its love child about 60 million years after that, and Madagascar has been on its own ever since, meaning its residents have had nearly 90 million laps around the sun of character development to figure life out, which is how we ended up with the ugliest monkey in the world. Matter of fact, the first time scientists saw it, they legitimately thought it was a squirrel nature tried redrawing strictly from memory. It wasn't until about 100 years later that scientists realized that the eye is actually a primate, meaning this dehydrated gremlin is closer to you than to any squirrel. Although it's not a monkey, like I said, it's actually a lemur. Although I don't blame them for taking one look at it and being confused. The eye is built like an identity crisis. It has the body of a monkey, the ears of a bat, the bushy tail of a fox, the dental plan of a rodent, and hands that would have gotten it burnt at a stake in Salem. Even its name is more complicated than it needs to be. Most people say that the Ai's government came from the Malagasy phrase, I don't know. As in, they were so disgusted by a fetal golem that they didn't even want to utter its name. Imagine being so aesthetically upsetting that the people naming you decide you're not even worth an identity. Like the name on your wiki is pretty much, I don't know, the ugly stepchild of Madagascar only really makes sense once you see what it does for a living. Form is function, and the eye looks like animal casserole because they're specialists on steroids. Their favorite foods are the grubs that Lion King did a really good job of making actually look good. They use those huge bat ears to listen as they drum up pieces of wood. And once they hear a hollow spot, they use that beaver-type overbite to drill through the wood, all while using that tail for balance, as they do this in complete darkness, which they have to since the eye is the world's largest nocturnal primate. Which is a title that really means next to nothing since they're still small enough to have to only be active when the sun goes down, and so do their chances of being put out of commission by birds of prey or the biggest op to lemur life. But being the largest means they're not the only nocturnal primates out there, and arguably, not even the ugliest, because the tarsier legitimately looks like it's having an internal mental health crisis. But like with the I don't know, form means function. And this perked out primate having the biggest eyes relative to the body size of any animal means they can take in as much light as possible. This means this pocket-sized primate can hunt in total darkness while also avoiding being snatched up and turned into calories themselves, even though they look fundamentally disturbed by their own existence. Maybe that's why they pull their own plugs in captivity. Eyes don't have to factory reset themselves because there's plenty of people that'll do it for free. That's because I didn't mention the weirdest thing about them. Eyes have 6 fingers and one of them's 3 times longer than all the others. And it also happens to be their middle finger. So when this gremlin goes for groceries, it taps on trees like a Jehovah's Witness going door to door. And it's after using those never not growing teeth to invite themselves in that they use that demonic digit to scoop the grubs out. And if you've ever held an eye's middle finger, you've both lived my dream and probably thought it was broken. When in fact, that finger has a ball and socket joint that essentially gives it 360 movement. Basically, the way you can move your wrist and your hand is the way this rehab chipmunk moves its finger. That finger is great for grabbing grubs, but also for another favorite pastime of theirs. That pastime being mucophagy, meaning eyes might not choose their nose, but they sure as hell pick them. And that finger is long enough to pass through the nostrils and reach all the way down its throat. And despite the gag this video gave me that I'm gonna have to edit out, it's not painful for the eye, just to anyone watching. We don't really know exactly why they do this. Some scientific evidence suggests that eating it helps boost our immune system, but honestly my search history is cursed enough, I'm really not trying to go down that rabbit hole. But you see, this is the kind of stuff only millions of years of character development in an isolated area can lead to. I mean, that's exactly how we got the ugliest frog in the world. And I know beauty's subjective, but I defy you to try and defend that. This frog has a name that sounds like I'm trying to test guidelines, and it's found only one place in the world, in the South American Lake Titicaca, which it's named after. And it's because of where it lives that this frog looks like if Kermit ever snapped and went full Buffalo Bill. Lake, I'm not going to say it again, is the world's highest elevated lake at 12,500 feet, where there can be only a third of the oxygen you'd expect at sea level. So because frogs can breathe through their skin, the frog's extra post-liposuction looking skin means extra surface area to absorb oxygen, which is what makes it the ultimate specialist, since the skin that lets it live up here would almost certainly get it packed up and put on a shirt anywhere else. Which is also why if you Google scrotum frog, 2 things will happen. You'll get this struggle toad's mugshot, and you'll end up on the same watch list as me. Unfortunately, despite looking like a grown man's hairless undercarriage, the frog with the name often gets deprived from life by people using it for food and medicine. Eyes also have to worry about getting turned into past tense by people, but for almost the opposite reason. You see, I was kidding with the whole gremlin thing. I actually think they're kind of cute. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and according to locals, eyes don't be holding nothing. Despite being a breed that literally identifies as a woodpecker, locals were so terrified of it that they would murk it on sight. And here's where their biggest flex becomes a curse. Because according to folktales, not only was this primate a harbinger of evil, if it ever pointed that freakish middle finger at you, you might as well lease a casket since it meant you'd be a was sooner than later. One myth even said that if you didn't go out of your way to sign its obituary first, the eye would break into your house and relieve you from life by stabbing you through the heart in your sleep. Obviously, it's not even close to being true, but imagine being such an assault on the eyes that people decide that oxygen is wasted on you. It's the opposite of pretty privilege. It's like a disheveled disadvantage. And this homely handicap is a big reason why the eye is endangered. But another big reason is due to habitat loss. Because despite being in the same weight class as like a laptop, eyes are solitary and require all the space that comes with it. And while males can tolerate territory overlap, females ain't having none of that. Especially since eyes, like most lemurs, are female dominated. That includes ringtails, by the way. So King Julian, you know what? I'm gonna leave it at that. And because we're really not that much different, males will run the most outrageous of fates for females, even resorting to levels of erection deflection by pulling males off females while they're actively mating. Which is probably why male eyes will often lock into their females in the process, and they can stay stuck that way for up to an hour. This ensures that the male swimmers make it to the pool party no matter how much the competition tries to run interference. Because ultimately, like I said, eyes aren't that much different from us. They have 2 eyes, a mouth, a desire to breathe, and a pair of nipples just like we all do. Except you might not notice them because eye nipples aren't in the neighborhood of where you'd expect them to be, since eye nipples are closer to the groin than they are to the chest. Because that honestly makes no less sense than anything else about a booger-eating, Swiss Army finger-wielding prosimian with a child lock for its junk. Well, not an actual child lock. That'd be weird. But as far as weird goes, it might not even be the ugliest primate on the planet. I say that because the Ugly Animal Preservation Society, yes, that's a real thing, had a vote on the most aesthetically displeasing animal out there, and the II didn't even make the top 5. You want to know who did? Yeah, this guy right here.
That makes sense.
The mascot of if it works, then it works. Because scientists believe that a nose big enough for its own license plate and parking space is actually used to help catch a female's attention. As in, one female decided she liked the way Big Nose is hanging. Now this monkey's entire personality is a facial flesh sack that I'm probably gonna have to censor. That might be the weirdest thing about them, but it's not the only. Cause Schnoz Monkey also uses raging erections as a sign of aggression and a threat. And if you don't believe me, pause this video and Google it. Oh wait, you probably won't see them in zoos, and the internet says it's because their specialized diet is too difficult to replicate. But I really think it's because no zoo wants to end up with a lawsuit because a proboscis monkey felt insecure and decided to mentally scar a child. You probably won't see one of these either, but for different reasons. The snub-nosed monkey is like the shadow clone of the proboscis. Instead of a massive flex on its face, it instead looks like it can unlock Voldemort's phone. These monkeys, especially the golden snub-nose, have to live in the cold, mountainous forests of Asia, and it's believed that the snub-nose helps prevent it from getting frostbite. And yeah, in typical evolution fashion, the monkeys with a no-nose got to live long enough to pass it down, and the ones that didn't,
it's not ugly. It's just
for a reason. And like I said, in some cases, we're really no better than them. Since black snub-nosed monkeys will actually use natural lipstick as a way to get attention. Except with them, it's actually the guys whose lips get the Kylie Jenner treatment, and the males with the biggest and brightest lips get the best pick of partners.
They do have some. Oh, come on.
I should take it even further. For so long, we didn't know why the Wakari cosplays as Red Skull with a receding hairline. Turns out, just like with the snub-nose's lips and this monkey's proboscis, it's what beauty standards in nature look like. Scientists now believe that the bright red color correlates to health and reproductive fitness. We know this because when a Wakari gets sick with like a malaria parasite or something, its face will get so pale it'll almost be white. So the redder in the face this crimson chimp is, the healthier he looks and the more females he gets to poke. But the thing with specialist species is they usually only live in one place, and they're usually also endangered. The II is no exception. In fact, at one point we thought they straight up got discontinued back in the 1930s until we accidentally rediscovered them over 20 years later. And today there's believed to be anywhere from 1,000 to 10,000 of them in stock. Which isn't great, but they're still doing better than the ugliest animal in the world. Do you remember how I said Noseby over here was voted in the top 5? Well, you want to know who was number 1? It was actually the blobfish. The fish that looks like a deflated whale fetus auditioned as a piñata. But honestly, I don't think there's an animal we did dirtier than the blobfish. The streets probably didn't tell you, but this is what they're supposed to look like. It's just that their address happens to be in the bottom of the ocean. So to survive pressure that would turn any one of us into a chalk outline, the blobfish has few muscles, even fewer bones, and no swim bladder. They're basically just a pile of waterproof gelatin with eyes. And you remember the whole form is function thing? Well, if the blobfish looked more like a regular fish, it would instantly flatline and have its insides forced out of its mouth. The problem is, when blobfish get caught in trawling nets and get pulled up, the same body that spent millions of years evolving to live in the crotch of the ocean basically falls apart in itself on land.
So when they go to the surface, they start looking like that. When they're underwater, they look like, okay.
And in their defense, if the most attractive person you know got airdropped into the blobfish's neighborhood, no amount of personality would save their face from what the water pressure would do to it. We don't know how many blobfish are left in the world, but consensus says it's something like 400. So yeah, the blobfish definitely got screwed with the whole ugliest animal title. That dishonor definitely should have gone to this thing.
What
Damascus
is that?
The blobfish. Thanks to selective breeding, we created a goat that looks almost cute as a baby, but then grows up into the steed of Satan. So basically, we pugged a goat. But these goats are incredibly valued for their milk and meat, and getting a purebred one will set you back a good $5,000 or more. Not only that, but this one was named the most beautiful goat in the world in 2008. So I guess the moral here is, no matter how rough you might think you look, you're always going to be of value to somebody. Even if you look like you took a steel chair to the chin. And even if you got something God made on a deadline. But that's going to do it for this video. Make sure to check out my TikTok and Instagram for more consistent content while you're waiting for the next video. And if you'd like to support this incredibly questionable content beyond just subscribing, my Patreon's also going to be in the description. But as always, never feel like you have to give anything. That aside, make sure you drink water, hug your mother, be glad your lady poker doesn't have a child lock on it. And I'll see y'all in the next one.
Hey.
If you guys are new to this channel and want to see more videos like this, please be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.